Sometimes the hardest journey is not across deserts, rivers, or mountains, but across the distance created by broken relationships. The Long Ride Home is one such story, a story of a man who left his family behind and, after many years, returned to ask for forgiveness. It is not only about traveling back to a place called home, but also about rebuilding love, trust, and belonging. This story takes us on a long ride filled with pain, hope, and redemption. The sun was setting low, painting the sky in deep orange and purple shades. A lone rider moved slowly along the dusty road. His hat was pulled down to hide his tired eyes, and his horse walked at a steady pace. This man had been away from home for many years. His name had almost faded from memory, yet for those who once loved him, the pain of his absence never disappeared. He once had a wife and a little daughter. But long ago, when life became difficult and his own mistakes weighed heavily on him, he left. He thought leaving would solve his problems, but all it did was create new wounds. His wife struggled alone, and his daughter grew up without a father's embrace. Now, years later, he was returning. Each step of the horse's hooves felt heavier than the last. He wasn't just traveling back to a town, he was traveling into his past, toward the people he had hurt the most. Returning to town, when he entered the small town, whispers followed him. People stopped what they were doing and stared. "There he is," one man muttered. "The one who left his family," another whispered. The rider kept his eyes low. He was not here for the townsfolk. He was here for his wife and daughter. Finally, he reached the small wooden house at the edge of town. The garden was overgrown, but the place still felt alive. He stopped his horse and stood still, staring at the door. Memories flooded back, laughter, warmth, and love, but also tears and anger. A wife's silence. His wife opened the door slowly. She froze when she saw him. The years had changed them both. Lines of hardship showed on her face, but her eyes still held the same fire. "You came back," she said coldly. He removed his hat. "Yes, I came back. I know I don't deserve a welcome, but I had to see you. Both of you." Her lips tightened. "You left us when we needed you the most. You think walking back in will erase all those years?" He lowered his head. "No, I don't expect forgiveness. I just want a chance. A chance to prove I'm not the man who walked away." The daughter's pain from inside. A young girl appeared. She was no longer the child he once kissed goodnight. She had grown into a young woman. But her eyes, the pain in her eyes cut through him. "Papa," she whispered, unsure. Tears stung his eyes. "Yes, sweetheart. It's me." She stepped closer but stopped, torn between anger and longing. "Why now? Why after all these years? Do you know how many nights I waited? Do you know how many times I wished you'd walk through that door?" He swallowed hard. I know I failed you. I can't change the past, but I want to be here now. I want to try again. You'll let me." The silence was heavy. His wife turned away, hiding her own tears. His daughter stood frozen, her heart fighting between hate and love. The struggle of acceptance. Days passed. He stayed nearby, helping with small chores, trying not to force his presence. Sometimes his daughter ignored him. Sometimes she shouted at him. And sometimes, in rare moments, she asked questions about the past. One day, while working in the fields, she asked, "Why did you leave?" His voice broke. "I was weak. I thought running away from my failures would make life easier, but it only made me empty. Every day I lived with regret. Every night I dreamed of coming back to you." Slowly, her anger began to soften. She saw the pain in his eyes, and though her heart was scarred, she began to understand that he truly wanted to change. The test of a father. One evening, danger struck. A group of rough men came into town, causing trouble. His daughter was caught. In the middle of their cruelty, without hesitation, he stepped forward, placing himself between the men and his child. "Stay away from her," he growled, his eyes filled with fire. The men laughed, but he stood his ground. A fight broke out. Though he was outnumbered, he fought with the strength of a father determined to protect his blood. In the end, bruised and battered, he stood tall while the men fled. His daughter ran to him, tears streaming down her face. "Papa, you saved me." He touched her cheek gently. "And I always will. I should have been here long ago, but I promise I will never leave again." That night something changed. The wall of anger in her heart began to crumble. Forgiveness and healing, it took more time, more talks and more tears. But slowly, forgiveness began to grow. His wife, too, started to see his sincerity. She had lived through pain, but she also remembered the love they once shared. One evening, as the three sat together, his daughter finally whispered, "I forgive you." He broke down, tears flowing freely. "Thank you. Thank you, my little girl." His wife placed her hand over his. "It won't be easy. The past cannot be erased, but maybe we can start again." For the first time in years, he felt truly at home. The Long Ride Home is more than just a story of a man returning after years of absence. It is about the courage to face the past, the strength to ask for forgiveness, and the power of love to heal even the deepest wounds. The ride home was not measured in miles, but in moments of honesty, sacrifice, and redemption. It reminds us that no matter how far we wander, there is always a way back, if we are willing to fight for it in the end. The story shows us that family, though fragile, can endure. Love, though tested, can survive. And forgiveness, though hard, can bring light back into even the darkest of hearts. Asterisk. Thanks for watching. If you really like the story, please do like, share, subscribe, comment on my channel, World Stories. See you on the next video.